So we are having a March 19th at Panera in New Albany at 2135 State Street. It's a fundraiser for our group. So 25% of the net sales between 4 and 8 PM will come to us. I will send an email. I will send an email tomorrow with the information on there. I also have flyers up here at this round table, okay? So again, you don't need the flyer if you, I don't do that.
You just gotta eat it, constantly eat it.
Look, and still not doing it.
Okay.
And
Maybe
so you
battery.
don't need the flyer. If you have the email from me, you can just go ahead and open up the email and it has the code on there for you guys, for us to get the money, if that makes sense. All right, so, but again, if you do want a flyer, I do have some up here. What else we got? The other.
Retirement card, retirement.
Oh, you want me to say that now? Okay. We also have a retirement card. Betty, who works at the Purdue office and does a lot for us, is retiring on March 31st. Yeah, so those guys are losing her. So we do have a retirement card that we would like everyone who's here would like to sign it, wish her well. Just a reminder, we are no longer doing door prizes. So if you do have something that you do want to donate, Angela Newton is our new Sunnyside Master Gardener event booth person. So reach out to her and then she will be able to sell it at Pollinator Day. And we also have it at the Tomato Festival, right, Diane?
Yes.
Also at the Tomato Festival. So if, what's her name? Angela Newton. Angela Newton. Also Veronica brought plant tags.
Renata, I need to have yours. Yeah.
So if you, if you are head of a, if you're head of a project, if you're head of a project, plant tags are up here.
Oh.
Diane has Tomato Festival signups for plant growing tomatoes
And starting seats.
and starting seeds
And volunteering on the tomato festival.
and volunteering at the Tomato Festival. So the sign up sheet is back there. Also, our presenter brought some booklets that free to take.
Yep.
Free to take. So if you want to take a look at what's at that back table back there, go ahead and take whatever's there. He brought those kind enough to bring that for us. Starting next month, Gina kindly offered for us to have our meetings in the Shine Room at Purdue. Yes. And I have to tell you guys, we diligently looked all over the county to find a place to have our meetings. Just about every place charges now at least $500. Yeah, it's
Even the churches.
well, we only could find one church that could accommodate us and but it's like one of those things. Sometimes they don't have Wi-Fi. I mean, we literally, and
Let me look at our
I'm
notes.
sorry.
North side?
I don't know. I put in the newsletter for people to give us suggestions and I never got any. So it was up to the board to just figure out what we could figure out, and we did go ahead. Jean Wolf actually did a fabulous job of doing the research, contacting people, and we couldn't find anything. So we feel that, again, we had the holiday party there this past December. It seemed to work well. Hopefully we won't have trouble with all the Wi-Fi and all this nonsense that we're doing here tonight. And it'll run a lot smoother, so that's our hope is.
Outlet of that.
And everybody will be able to bring, homemade goodies if they want to share, so that's always, yeah. It's a big thing for that. Let's see what else we got here.
What does that look like now?
Also, I brought, because somebody, I think it was Deb had a really good idea on marketing materials.
Wait, no.
So we did order pens with our web address on there. So I did bring enough for everyone. I feel like we are our best marketers. So I would like everyone to take one. And if you're shopping around or if you see somebody who's interested in gardening, promote us. Promote our events. I don't know what happened. Promote our events, that kind of thing. Also, an idea was to have business cards at our events, because a lot of times people want to know what our website is, who we are, where can they find us. So we're also going to be printing up some business cards as well to hand out. So those are a few things that, because we have a little bit of money in the coffers, that we're able to actually spend some money on some of these items to really get our name out there a little bit better. How we doing?
What we got?
Almost.
Got it to creep around. So you can go out and share.
Right, I mean, it's funny, because I literally, you can see it, it's like right on that. So,
Yes.
you can just go ahead and tell them the pollinator day.
Okay.
You're gonna make me wrestle this thing? Okay, I just wanna thank everybody that has sent in money to the office for pollinator day as a support. That's great. We really appreciate it. We appreciate, a few people have let us know, family members or friends that we have reached out to. We're doing pretty good. We've been out to many businesses. We probably have maybe 10 or 15 so far that have supported us. Some nice size checks this year, so that's really nice. It takes, as we talked about at the last meeting, around $18,000 for us to put on Pollinator Day and keep it as a free family event. And we had 2,200 people last year. It's growing, and almost anywhere you go anymore, someone knows about Pollinator Day or has been there. It's really our best way to get what we do out there. So I thank you all very much. I do have a little donation box back there today. We can go ahead and take those donations if you have any, all the way up through even maybe next month at our meeting, I can bring it again. Really do thank you so much in advance.
We're good now.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. All right. So Andrew Johnson has been cleaning pools since he was 12 years old. So he knows a few things about water garden features. He is the water garden designer at Riverbed Builders of Louisville and Southern Indiana. He not only designs, but also installs water garden features in private yards and public spaces. Andrew is a hands-on contractor, I understand. Outdoor water features are a specialty, from waterfalls to koi ponds to fountainscapes. Not only the installation of water skates, but also their annual maintenance are what Riverbed Builders does. The business is celebrating its 10th anniversary, having been established in 2016, at least that's what their website said. Backyard water garden features was one of the subjects that you specifically requested information about when we were generating ideas last August. Andrew has spoken to us before, but it's been many, many years, so we're delighted to have him back again. Andrew, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, you're good.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Andrew, and we've been doing this a little longer than 10 years. We actually started in 2013, but we didn't incorporate until 2016. So, and then I got my start at 12 years old. I was a little boy that liked water features, fish and turtles and everything. And actually used to go to Aquarius Water Gardens every chance I got with my dad, which Glenn's here, and he has a lot to do with getting me into this. And
Sorry.
yeah, it as a hobby and a business is it's not always the easiest thing, but it is fun. So again, thank you for having me. And then please take all those brochures in the back. They're sponsored by our manufacturer, which is Aquascape. That's the products we put in the ground. And they gave us a lot of books for you to take home and start planning your dreams, because that's where it starts. So
Let me see.
cursive, or is it backwards?
No, it's because I had to click back into it. There you go. It's cool now. You're good.
Thank you. So my favorite is the water garden, which I think probably most people are familiar with. Does anybody have a water feature or? Quite a few. So I'm in good company. If you've had a water feature for a long time, you know they can be kind of finicky. We try to use an ecosystem approach. So we do build a water feature with rock and gravel, boulders, and we try to make it look as natural as possible. A lot of the things that I'm looking for with a design is the lifestyle. So when we come out or I come out to your property, you know, I'm thinking, how can you interact with this in the most ways possible? Because it's not always comfortable outside. You know, mosquitoes, it's hot, it's rainy. So we want to put it in a space that you can use it the most out of the entire year. And then, you know, space could be small, large, that doesn't really matter because these are modular, so they can be put in most any space. We just did a project actually right across the road here, behind the Cattlemen's. We finished it up last week, and we had to build a plywood road to get there and just enough room to get our machines through the two brand new houses into this tiny little backyard. So they can be put just about anywhere, but you know, I like to design from a point that is like makes people think, well, was the house built after the water feature? You know, did they have to accommodate the patio to put this in? So, you know, when somebody comes into your backyard, we want it to look like it's always been there. I don't like when we have to kind of force it into a space or, you know, do something that doesn't make sense. Like if you have a slope in your backyard that goes from your back door down to your neighbor's house, you know, that, you know, it's going away from the property. We want it to come to you and greet you, or, you know, and then very important to me is it just fits into your day-to-day life. You know, you're coming and going, you're passing it, because for you that have had water features, you know, if they get neglected, that's when they become a problem. The great thing about a water garden is the plants, which kind of go hand in hand with what your all's passion is, aquatic and terrestrial. So this is a picture of one of my favorites. It's not the biggest or fanciest that we ever built, but Troy, who owns this, he's actually a part of the Bonsai Association out of Louisville. I think he's working with the new bonsai garden that's going in at the Botanical Gardens. So he's also, I think he's a doctor or surgeon, so he's very meticulous. How'd you know?
He's my husband's rheumatologist.
What?
We always talk about plants.
Wonderful guy. Yeah, I could spend the whole day over there and talk to him. And he asks me questions usually, and I'm like, I don't know, you know. He likes to do all kinds of different things, but he takes care of this thing almost 100% by himself. And you can even, I probably should have put more pictures, but he's even got little starts of bonsais that little tree actually naturally came out of that rock, and he started shaping it and taking care of it. So anytime I'm over there, I always take a picture of that pond because it always looks, there's always something he's changed or done, and he's done all that landscaping. And then, you can kind of see in this picture, it's also a great example. This is a weathered limestone boulder that we used here. And you can see the sedums and things growing on that, which gives it even more character and more of that grown-in look. A lot of the features we build now are weathered sandstone, just because they tend to be more consistent and more fluid through each project, where like the weathered limestone tends to bleach out and it looks best in more of a shady environment. A lot of the big things questions we get is like, well, my yard's got too many trees in it for a water feature, which I think is bogus, because I would rather put a water feature in more of a shady environment, because then you have all these other elements like moss and little plants and ferns that grow in and around the streams and stuff, and just makes it look like it's been there longer and more grown in. But yeah, so, and then again, knowing Glenn since I was a little boy, probably longer than he remembers knowing me, going over there and buying fish and things, like that's really what got me into this, was the water garden. And I think that's like the primo feature, because each season it's different. It kind of has its own personality. There's so many more things you can do, because you can change out the water lilies, the lotus, the plants around it, the fish. Possibilities are endless. So that's kind of my favorite, and that's what I also have at my house. So the other aspect of the water feature industry is the pondless waterfall, which, if you're more of a traveler, if you're someone who can't handle a lot of maintenance, this is a lot better option, because you have all the wonderful sounds of the water if you live by a highway, or I don't know if a lot of you do like full garden designs, but contractors always put the air conditioner like right by the back patio, and it's like,
Yeah.
why would you put that next to so if you need to drown out the sound, if you have a beautiful garden with a lot of lush plants and all that, but then you got the air conditioner running, or the neighbor's air conditioner running, it adds that element of sound. My favorite, and why I kind of picked these pictures, besides the contrast, I like the big flowy sound. So like when you're up in the mountains and you kind of have that sound that's not overpowering but flowy in the background. And then, unlike a pond, you're not keeping an ecosystem alive. So a lot of these, this one in particular is down in Paducah. It is over 350 feet of stream and along their driveway, but they shut it off at night. And when no one's home, it's off. If they go out of town, it's off. Same thing with this water feature on the left, is over here in the east end of Louisville. And he travels a lot, businessman. And when when they're not home, it's off. They have an app on their phone, they turn it on, it comes on, they use it, it goes off. So at that point, if low maintenance, which everybody is always looking for a low maintenance backyard design, which we all know that's impossible to achieve, but this is always the closest you can get to that, because if it's not running, it's not collecting dirt and filth, and you're using the pumps less, so they're going to last longer. But as you can see, you can still have the ability to landscape around it and make it look like it fits in the yard, and gives a little purpose. But and it's kind of funny. It's like to year, everything goes in fads. So the water feature comes and goes in everybody's design, but I'm always amazed. It's like either we're building all pondless waterfalls or all koi ponds. It's like, I don't know why that's that way, but like last year we put in several ponds. The year before it was all waterfalls. So, but I think an interesting way to just kind of bring a little sound in your backyard and you get the sights and sounds, you get the frogs and the wildlife, but then you don't have to have the big maintenance every year of a koi pond. Or
Circulate?
yes. So we put a basin in the ground. That's a great question. Didn't think about talking about that, but we put a basin in the ground, size to the feature. So all the water is captured underground when it's in the off position. So there's no ability for the mosquitoes to get down there and lay their eggs. You're not going to get any stagnant water. When it comes back on, it re-oxygenated the water and everything flows and is clean and clear. And I have a few of these that they don't even grow algae in them because they're not on long enough to grow algae. They're only, evenings and weekends when they're enjoying that. So they don't even have to put any kind of product or chemical in there to keep it looking fresh. We have one over here in Sellersburg that it was probably one of the first few that I put in, maybe the first pondless waterfall I put in, and every time I go and look at it, I'm amazed because it looks like the day we put it in, and they have it on a remote, and they only use it when they're outside sitting in front of it. The rest of the time it's off. And I'm like, the rocks aren't even stained. Like, I don't know how they keep it that nice, but so it kind of a contrast. I like more of the water gardens because I like how it changes and a little bit of algae is not a big deal and growth and things because it's alive. But this is a great option too. Um, and I don't see a clock, so
You're at 69, but we got started a little late.
well, yeah. Oh, there's the clock. But I just want to make sure there's time for questions. The smallest feature is the fountainscape, which again brings the sound of the water into a very small space. So, a lot of people downsize their big properties. They move into a yard. It's just in a courtyard, and you can literally put these things. If you got a 4x4 space. Very good for the DIYer because, if you can use a shovel and a wheelbarrow and you got some place to get rid of the soil, you can pretty much put these anywhere, and by yourself. This one, again, kind of goes in phases, but that's actually basalt columns, which is a natural rock. And then the one on the left is a manufactured product. It looks supposed to look big and heavy, but one person could lift that urn above their head. And there's a lot of different, and again, back there, the books, there's a bunch of pictures of the fountainscapes. What I like about it is it's kind of an entry level. So if you're not sure about having a water feature, you don't have a lot of space, or you're not sure how long you're going to want one, you're not coming in with skid steers and big equipment and ripping up your garden that you've been working 25 years on to have some contractor come in and ruin everything just to put a water feature in. This one in particular, not a very good picture to show it, but you can kind of see they have a formal garden with boxwoods, and there's a big patio to the right, and the house actually horseshoes around it. And that was the only spot left that they hadn't done something in because they knew they wanted to have a fountain there, which I wish they would have brought us in earlier because we could have done more. But so we went in with some wheelbarrows and shovels and dug that little square out and put a basin in and put that fountain up. And it's functioned really nice there. But this is if I'm being honest, not my favorite. Oh, and bubbling boulders, which is kind of a similar to the basalt columns, which is very popular. What I like about them for the gardens is like birds are very important to me, in a garden space. So usually if we're trying to create a place where birds or hummingbirds or bees can come and drink, fountains are a really good option for that. And so, not as fancy as the waterfalls, but and then this is kind of new to our market. I thought this would be interesting to talk about. It's the next level of water features. So it's basically koi pond on steroids. So we call them recreation ponds, which is a little bit of a legal term because if you have chlorine in a system, it's 100. It doesn't matter if you have a bathtub in your backyard or a stock tank. If it has chlorine in it, that is bathing water, and that is under the regulations of a swimming pool. Where a recreation pond is has the capability to swim in, just like you see, but it has the looks of a water garden. So it's natural water. We filter them with constructive wetlands. Our manufacturer claims that if you put a big enough wetland in a system like this, it can actually eliminate E. coli in a system. So there's a couple of these. I forget it's up in Wisconsin, and it's a real popular place, lakes and stuff up there. And they actually have one of these that's open to the public. And they do this a lot in Australia. They build these in public areas where they're large scale, hundreds of people come and swim in them, and they don't crash. So there's no chlorine in this system. It's all filtered with biological filtration through a wetland that we put plants, rocks, and gravel in and polish the water. This one on the left, this is actually one of my kids here. We put that in 3 years ago for my neighbor. And he had a neighborhood cookout, and that's a picture from the cookout. So he invited all the neighbors down, and we all went swimming in there for several hours. And the next day, I said, I need you to send me a picture of this thing so I want to see what it looks like the next day. The next day, it was crystal clear again. So, but, huh?
How deep is it?
The one on the left is about 5.5 foot deep. This one on the right is 8 feet in the deepest. 8 is our record. I don't know if I want to go any deeper than that. That's it gets challenging. But you know what we find in the garden space is swimming pools don't get used nearly enough. So you put a big swimming pool in the middle, and they're kind of can be unsightly, you know. So if you're thinking about a garden space, and then most of the year it's got a big cover on it, you know. So if you want a beautiful backyard, but you also have grandkids or little kids or people that might want to swim throughout the year, you know, a water or a recreation pond is kind of a great option because you're not tying up a lot of your property with concrete, because you can see this one on the right. I've kind of cropped out. There's a big patio that goes all the way around to this other pavilion, and then the house sits here, and there's all windows that look out to that. And then to my right is the wetland, and it's fed with like a little stream and another bridge that comes into this. So they pretty much tied up a big portion of their backyard with this, and then they come back in, and I think they were going for like a native theme with the plants. I don't know how well of a job they did with that, but
Is that with a basin or or what's the bottom?
so we excavate the area out, and we put underlayment down, and then we're putting a rubber membrane over that. And that keeps all the water in, and then we're covering that with rocks and boulders and gravel. So you kind of see the algae starting to grow on the rocks, but this is all boulders that go down into the bottom of that.
So the pond on the left, so how much of a wetland do you need for that size?
So we like to go 15% of the surface area of the pond. And there's no limit to that. You could go 50%, 100%. The larger the wetland, the better water quality you're gonna have. So it's definitely no place to cut on putting something like that in. But like a traditional koi pond with a wetland, we shoot for 10% of the surface area. But when you add humans, they're a lot dirtier than fish, so, and then you got sunscreen, right? Always got the crazy neighbor that thinks he's gonna come and take a bath in it or something, you know? So you wanna make sure that you have lots of filtration, and the filter on these, actually goes, about 5.5 feet in the ground. And then it has a sedimentation chamber in there, so it slows the water down and lets all the solids fall out of the water. And then we use different size gravels that the water flows up through, and that's where the bacteria lives, the beneficial bacteria. And then the top layer is a pea gravel where you can plant, irises and horse's tail or whatever you can imagine water plants in there to decorate it. And then they even go further with polishing the water with all their little roots and things that pull the nutrients out of the water. But we do about one of these a year. So they're gaining popularity. We get more and more calls. People becoming more conscious about bathing in chlorine and swimming in pools. And then from a cost wise, if you're going to build a beautiful garden and spend $100,000 on a swimming pool, you don't want it to close most of the year or too cold to enjoy it. So there's a lot more enjoyment. This one in particular, I actually forgot about this. This is actually hollow underneath there, so you can actually go underneath that waterfall, which kind of makes it a little bit neat. But well,
Like big dogs mix with all.
well,
You can keep the dogs out of it.
depending on the dog, I do have a customer that claims his dog can't swim, and it tends to be a problem usually. But so the dog's not going to hurt the system at all. We've actually created a couple water gardens that the whole intent was for their dog to have a place to get in and interact with it. So the big problem is the wet dog going back in your house. So not so much the water feature.
Yeah, wet dog as opposed to a dirty wet dog, which is what they do now.
Right, yeah. Usually the biggest complaint I get is halfway through the construction process and everything's mud in the backyard. And they get tired of cleaning their dogs off every day. But no, a dog could swim in that. The hair and everything that's going to come off of that is going to be filtered out and not be an issue. The other thing that we do on these that kind of next level, so all of the other features that I showed you all have submersible pumps that go down in the feature, where these actually have external pumps that sit outside the pond, which does bring a little safety element. The neat thing about water features for now, I think that's going to change, is there's a big gray area for zoning. So like there is no limit on the size of a natural pond that you can put in most areas in southern Indiana and Kentucky, unless a subdivision has a special rule on that. So they consider this or any of these water features natural. So it's no different than, the farm down the road that gets a guy with a bulldozer and built a lake, 3-acre lake. There's no requirements for fences. I don't know why chlorine makes the difference. As soon as you put chlorine in it, you have to have a fence. I guess people can only drown in chlorine, so even more reason to go with a natural feature. But so like this feature here is 40 by 45 feet across. So it's like bigger than, like an Olympic sized swimming pool and 8 foot deep, but there's no requirements for fences or, special zoning, unless a specific HOA or something has a problem with that. So, which is kind of another neat thing. I think they tend to be safer. Even like, we've had a lot of questions over the years, like with water gardens and ponds and things like, are they safe? But I think they're safer than a swimming pool because we build them with shallows around the edge. So, it's going to be really hard for a small child or a dog that can't swim to get down into that deep part, this area on the left is only about 18 inches deep, so, and I don't think, yeah, I don't know how long. Good. If you want to get in touch with me about anything, website, email, phone number. We do have a YouTube channel where I try to post as currently as I can, little videos of what we're doing and where we're working and all that fun stuff. So you can see hours of the process. And then I put that stuff on Facebook and Instagram as well. And then I did leave my business cards back there if you have any questions outside of today. But who's got questions for me?
If you have the koi pond arrangement, how do you keep the koi from being eaten by the herons? Or raccoons?
Well, that is the magic question. And what's funny is in last year or two, I'm realizing the herons, even though they've really made a comeback, they're not quite the problem as other pests. So this pond in particular, I talked to him last month and he was in a panic. 'Cause he put probably about $5,000 or $6,000 worth of fish in this pond since we finished it 2 winters ago, and he had a mink come to his property, and which is one of the hardest things to catch because they're very clever. But he actually caught it on his security camera at 3 a.m, swimming around his pond with a fish in its mouth. And in a 3-day period, it cleaned out almost the entire collection. So, unfortunately, that's always a problem. And there's a couple of things. One thing that I'm experimenting with is aerators in the pond, like big aerators. I've been told that when the aerators are running during the day, when the sun's shining, it disturbs the surface of the water. So when they're flying over, they can't identify fish as well. A big dog makes a big difference to keep the critters away. But not the minks. They're pretty clever. And they're also protected out here, or at least they have a season for trapping them. But my remedy is lots of fish and a big stocked up pond. We're home a lot. I got a lot of kids. I got dogs, and we've only had a heron problem once. So, and I have so many fish that I probably wouldn't even notice if 1 or 2 were missing, other than 4 or 5 very large ones. But it's always a risk, if you have a pond outside. What you got?
My pond,
I know your pond.
3 foot deep on one side, 4 on the other.
That's another good point. Yeah.
Last year, I saw a heron sitting on the side of the pond, and later I found part of a fish in the yard where he'd been pecking on it. That was his last fish.
Well, that was always the angle I've used in the past, and
It's the only time. The only time
Right.
I had a problem.
Yeah,
How many years has it been there?
2019 I think is 18 or 19, something like that. I think maybe
It's been a while.
yeah, 18. That was always kind of one of my things in the past is herons can't stand in 3 foot of water and
Right.
fish. So we always try to make a really deep area if we think that's going to be a problem, or if the budget allows for it. We actually, in January, we built a pond in Tampa, Florida for a guy, and he invited us down there to do that for him. And every day going into his neighborhood were these large heron-like birds. I think they're the cranes, migrate. Sandhills, yeah. And every day, this same yard, there's like 6 of them every day, and we're here. We were building him a recreation pond, and he wanted a koi pond because he didn't want to swim with his fish. And he's kind of wimpy, but you know, that was his choice. But we got like down there and start working on this. Like, we're gonna have to do something because this guy's just gonna get cleaned out. So we made the koi pond almost 4 foot deep and like pretty much straight down. All the boulders were vertical in there so that nothing could stand, to try to eliminate that, and put a big aerator in there. So he's only had fish for like 3 weeks, so he knows the risk. But I told him, don't get the expensive ones.
You mentioned for features in the shade that you could like plant, the moss grows on its own, but you could put ferns in. But what about on the surface of the pond? Is there anything that'll grow in not much sun on the surface?
Not really. So that's kind of a conversation we always have. If you have a shade pond, you're probably going to be more with moss and ferns, on the outside, but your lilies and your aquatic plants aren't going to get enough sunlight to bloom. And like what I've seen a lot is like the lily pads will grow big pads, but they won't produce any blooms because they're, starved to sunlight.
They get the pods even and they just never.
Yeah.
Grow up.
So
Turn the tree some, so maybe
maybe we get some luck. Yeah.
we got some feeder goldfish in ours. It wasn't a fish pond. It was bird bath pond. And I wish somebody's heron would come. They're huge now and they reproduce and we've got all these crazy goldfish.
Oh yeah. I compare goldfish to cockroaches because I don't think you can kill goldfish unless you're trying really hard. And a lot of times people think they're like, well, I want to start out with some goldfish before I get the expensive koi. And I'm like, well, if you put goldfish in this pond, you're probably never going to get them out because.
When we first did the big pond at the store, we put goldfish and koi in. That's a problem we have with the goldfish. They left. But this is my own idea. If you find a goldfish with a big long tail, it's usually a male. Females have short tails. So if you put long tail ones in, you don't get a bunch of babies.
That's good.
This from the years of experience.
I'm convinced that you could put one goldfish in a pond and have 30. So I don't know, but.
My son also dumped some bluegills and things like that.
Well, that'll take care of
And
goldfish.
we had a Jack Russell Terrier who would fish. She would catch the fish on the surface. And after she learned how to do that, whenever we would take her on our fishing boat, we couldn't go near the shore because she would jump out and run along the side of the lake and fish.
That's so funny.
Wow.
Did you have a question?
I like that. How do you keep leaves out of a shade pond?
That's a great question. So, all of our features are built with a skimmer. And in the past, that's been, pretty much a plastic bucket-like feature on the side of the pond that the pump goes in a basket and sucks all the leaves. That would have been a good one to include. But on our larger features, really all sizes, we do what's called an intake bay. And kind of hard to explain, but it kind of brings the principles of the pondless waterfall to the koi pond. So we use our aqua blocks, which are a plastic matrix that we put in the ground that water can float through. And we build an area that has downward suction. So the pumps are down really low. And there's usually anywhere from 12 to 14 inches of water in that area. And all the leaves are sucked into that cove. So it can handle pounds and pounds and pounds of leaves. And then you would just scoop those out with a net. And it sounds like more work, but it's a lot easier to maintain because you're not like We have one gentleman in particular that has a koi pond and he's a fireman and he works like 4 days and he's not home. So anytime his skimmer fails, he's got to put a pump in it. Or we've warrantied it a bunch of times and he's burned it up probably more than anybody I've known, but that's because nobody's there to clean out the skimmer. So this buys you a lot of time in between clean outs. And really the fall is the worst time, and maybe that little bit in the spring when the tulip poplars are making their mess, that you're gonna have that heavy load. And then we do it on these big ponds, just because it's impossible to do any kind of netting over top, but a lot of the smaller features, we recommend throw a net up 1st of October. You can usually pull it off before Christmas, and that kind of saves your time and effort on the system, but managing it is the best way. And my pond, I don't net it, I don't cover it, the leaves fall, they sink to the bottom, we clean it out in the springtime, or I get the kids out there to get in it and get it all stirred up and get it looking good. So, but not I just feel that why I say like putting it in the woods or shaded area, the water stays cooler. You're not going to fight the algae as much, and then I think you have more opportunity for like when they're out in full sun like this. The rocks kind of get bleached out, and over time it doesn't look as good. It takes a lot more effort to plant a full sun feature than like a partial shade. I think there's a lot more options for things that. Any other questions?
Right there with the circle thing.
This, you're exactly right. So that is a fire boulder. We get those out of, it's fireboulder.com. They're based out of Indianapolis, great company, and they make those there on site. So they pick each boulder specifically, and they got this cool thing that drills it, and it runs off propane.
It tries with the people about things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works just like that. It's just in a boulder. On this one, it's plumbed off the house. So it's plumbed directly off of it. I think they have propane there, but it would run off propane or natural gas. Or you could use a barbecue, tank and run it off somewhere out of the way where you don't see it. That is a great place. We've dealt with them a bunch. We actually put 3 on this property, which I thought was insane. And those 3 planters on the side of the house also have fire in there. And he wanted to be able to run all of them at the same time, which I thought was insane. But he says it's really pretty. I haven't seen it, so. But
My husband likes lots of lights in the backyard.
yeah.
Light up features, he would love that.
Yeah, and we do lighting as well under the water and so it's really pretty at night.
Any other questions?
Oh, you did good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. First time, so.
Okay, so thank you, Andrew, for sharing your information. I don't understand this thing. If we'll go ahead and take a really quick break in case you want to use the restroom, and don't forget, we have the card over there for Betty. Debbie's on via Zoom. In regards to approving the minutes. Lisa?
You got it, you got it.
Oh,
Wait, there she is. Wait, it's me. It's my fault, it's my fault.
Okay, we're used to that. Features.
It's my fault, it's my fault.
Technology, it's gonna be
It's
so much
my
nicer
fault.
in the shine room. There's.
It's my fault. Okay, try now, Debbie.
Hopefully you've all read excuse me, I've got a cold.
It's me.
Hopefully you've all read the minutes in the
It
Sunnyside
happened the
Times.
last time. I hate this system.
This will be the last time.
Oh, is working.
Okay, try now.
Hopefully you've all
That means
read.
right now.
No, you can't hear me.
I don't know how to
Hold
fix,
on.
I don't know how to fix it.
The speaker has an X on it in the lower
No,
right corner. Is that
no, because
right?
it switched, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now try maybe.
Now try Deb.
Oh.
Okay, sorry, I've got a cold and a bad cough. Hopefully you've all read the minutes in the Sunnyside Times, and I would ask for a motion to approve them of the February minutes.
Motion to approve, Bonnie.
Second.
Can you hear that? That's my
I wasn't sure who made the motion.
Bonnie.
Okay.
Bonnie.
And
And who is second?
Karen.
Karen second. Oh, Hannon.
Just had to read.
Okay,
I
All-
think it's.
all in favor?
Is that good?
All in favor?
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, you're good. Okay, next on the list is Mike.
Treasurer.
He is treasurer. You'll have better
Share.
luck because you have this equal voice. I think that's the problem. Voice.
Go that way, please. It'll interfere.
So what's my screen?
Well, hold on. Lisa's, yep. Screen, Lisa.
You don't need to pull anything up yet. Okay, I wanna recap last year real quick, and then I wanna go through this year's budget. And then this month's financial statement, so, last January, when I came in as treasurer for the second go around. We had about 24,000 and change on a bank account, so that's our net, because we're cash basis. Okay, after a month or so. It came to light that we do have a credit card, had a $2,000 credit limit on it, and we really, for pollinator day. We need a larger credit limit, so I went to our bank and said, what do we do to get it up? And it was basically, sorry about your luck, you can apply for a higher increase, but, it's up to the underwriters at the credit card bank to approve it or not, because PNC doesn't own their own paper. So anyway, I went through the process online and was going through it and everything. At the very end, it's all electronic. They called for electronic signature as officer of the organization. And it also required a personal guarantee, at which point, I chucked that. So, with the board directed me to start looking around for alternate, banking facilities. Two came up, one was a local bank, about $2 billion in assets. Went to them and said, here's our issue. And they said, we don't hold our own credit card paper, you gotta apply. I thought, just not doing that. Center Credit Union has been a good supporter of Pollinator Day for a number of years. Talked to them, and I am a member of Centra, so I talked to them and said, here's our issue. Do you handle commercial accounts? They said yes, and they were interested in getting us. So anyway, Shelley and I had a meeting with them, and I said, this is what it would take to get our account. We have to have a credit card with a $10,000 credit limit on it, period. And that was a big thing. And then be able to handle all of our other banking needs. So we made the application on the credit card, no guarantees. And about 10 days later, they said, you got it. I said, what do we need as a compensating balance? What do we need to put up? They said nothing. So we went with Centra. With Centra, all of our cash in the bank earns interest. Where we were before, it was as a checking account, non-interest bearing, period. So last year you started, if you read the financials, you started seeing interest income showing up. So all our money's at work. Last year we had a good year. If we were a company, we had a $5,000 net profit. Don't call it net profit with a nonprofit, but that's where it was. So as a nonprofit or anything, I don't make apologies for having a good year. So we started the year out with about $29,000 in cash. We still have some money at PNC because with Zelle and we started using Venmo, they accept we can put our money in there. Centric as a credit union is not equipped to handle that. So we've got two banks, the PNC, there's a little bit of money in there, just enough. So if there's any questions about that, okay. So let's go into, Lisa, go ahead and pull up the budget. And just the first tab on the budget.
That was one.
There you go. Scroll down just one or two lines. One, okay. All right.
Big enough?
Yes. If y'all can see it, it's big enough.
Yes.
Okay, so we budgeted. We budgeted this year $30,000 coming in. The biggest single thing of revenue coming in is Pollinator Day. The reason Pollinator Day is so big, and I talked about this last year, but the grant money that Gina got in the past with running it through Purdue, there are instances where Purdue will take a percentage of the money coming in. If the grants go through us, nobody can touch it. It's all 100% cash, okay? So all the money that comes in, that money is earmarked and required on grant money to be paid out for Pollinator Day, okay? So that's why the number is probably twice as big as what it was 4 or 5 years ago. Is that right? About right, Kathy? Okay. Okay, so that's our revenue coming in. And then click down a couple rows there. Here's our expenses, and I go back up one. There you go. So I just kind of recap the big summary items. So we've got projects. Most of the money in the projects is Pollinator Day, over $16,000. That leaves about $18,000 or $8,000 for all of our other projects, all the projects that are listed in our directory and on our website and stuff like that. So, and then I kind of categorize these other expenses, association expenses. That's really your that's our overhead. And I'll go into detail on what that is, and I'll be as quick as I can. Committee expenses, we have a few different committees, and I'll show you what that is. Fundraising expenses, our two fundraising categories are the Tomato Festival, which Diane Willie heads up, and the wreath making class in December, which Elizabeth Riley heads up. So their budgeted expenses are $1,000. It's actually $500 a piece. The advanced training tours, that's the field trips. That's a wash because it's part of the income and then part of the expense. It's kind of a net to zero. And then the holiday dinner expense, there's an income item of $1,600 for the holiday dinner. That's with the assumption that we would have a catered type thing. Last year we didn't, in the past we did, so I've got it in there, but the net expense on the holiday dinner is about $250. That's for table decorations and door prizes and stuff like that. So at this point, our budget for next year is a $3,500 loss. Or as it's called, net expenses over revenue. Okay, but it's a loss. That's budgeted. Okay, go to the next tab. Okay, and then here's the detail of all of our income for next year, budgeted income. So the dues, it's based on 120 people, members renewing for next year. Interest income, that's what we will make, that much, maybe a little bit more if the interest rates hold up. The Kroger rewards is a small item, but it's consistent every, 3 months. Under donation and fees, that's pollinator day, that is grant money. That is money from businesses in our community that put money into Pollinator Day, cash. And that is money from us members. So it's the shout outs from the members, and all things like that. Master gardener fees. It's fees and there's a donation going in there too, but that's the program up in Georgetown every summer. The advanced training tours, that's the field trips, that's just the wash, 300 in, 300 out, and it hits somewhere in there. Okay, the fundraisers, budgeted 3,000 for the tomato festival next year, $3,700 for the wreath class. The weather's good on both of these, we'll do well. You could have a rain out in August, not likely, but you can. You could have snow in December. It's early, but it's happened before. So those two programs, make a lot of difference. The holiday dinner, that's based on 80 people and $20 a head, but whatever that is. The next tab there. These are all our projects. Yeah. And you kind of scroll down. So Art Alliance is a new one in New Albany. It'll be starting up this year. The other ones are pretty much the ones we've had before. Bluebird Trail expense. They received a grant at the end of last year, which carries over for this year. If money comes in between October and December, it's not a use it or lose it situation. They get to use that money this year. So they'll have $500 from this year that the board approved and $550 that carries over from last year. The other one should look pretty straight with you. Going down to Pollinator Day, that's our big one. So Pollinator Day expenses are more than income coming in. Pollinator Day is not a moneymaker for us. It's a program. And the reason there is more expenses than revenue on this is because there is some grant money left over from last year. We cannot take it in and not spend it. We have to allocate it and account for it. So that's why the expense is higher. The rest of those are pretty much it. So that's where your $25,800 comes from on your expenses. Going to the next one, the association expenses. Thank you. Community outreach. That's part of that's the new pins that we just got. And then other things is through Gene Wolf's when we go out to like Paristown or other places that were called. It's kind of incidental expenses for that. Insurance, that's our liability insurance, upped it a little bit because insurance doesn't go down. We we budgeted in a scholarship this year. We haven't done it for a few years, but we've done it this year. We did find a qualified candidate with the criteria that the Master Gardeners has, and we'll be awarding scholarship to senior this year. Statutory filings, that's depending on the year, that's Secretary of State report. That is also our Gina, what's that license for plant sales? Plant sale license. Okay. Yeah, so there's a couple other licensing things and filings that we have, and some of them have expenses, so I'll put $200 for that. The tech website, that's, our Zoom license, other licenses we have. That's our domain fee every year to keep Sunnyside, mg.org, so nobody else gets it. So that's things like that. That's all of our technology stuff. Go to the next tab. Here's your miscellaneous one. That's our committees, the bereavement committee, the program committee, Jeff Culver, that's gets speakers in and all such as that. The program picnic, that's the expenses we have for our picnic in summer. And then the refreshment committee. So that's that summary. The fundraisers, that's two I talked about earlier. Advanced training tours, that's a wash. Comes out pretty close to that. And then the holiday dinner. Next tab. Okay. This is our fund balance. Started out with 29.4, $3,500 loss, and then 25.8 at the end of the year. Do I think we'll have a $3,500 loss? Not really. We tend to do more frugal on the expenses, the program, different program chairs, don't turn in as much as they're budgeted sometimes they don't turn in anything. So, and then other expenses, I tried to be a little bit cautious that I wasn't understating expenses, and I was a little bit frugal on the revenue side. So I think we're gonna come out okay. I don't know if we'll break even or not, but that's where we are. Any questions on the budget?
That Kroger rewards,
Yeah.
was that $320 a year?
That's for the whole year. We get about, depending on the quarter, we get between $60 and $80, somewhere around there. It kind of fluctuates around. So that's what that is.
And that's from the Kroger Corporation, right?
That's from Kroger Corporation. They send us a check every 3 months.
But you have to be a member of it.
You have to be a member.
Your Kroger card.
Yeah. So different people do it with different charities, so you can't double dip on a charity if you're doing somebody else. And it's not a material area of income for us at all. If anybody wants a copy of this or anything I do, let me know and I'll email it to you.
We trust you.
I trust you.
He does a very good job.
Okay. Let's go into the other spreadsheet, Lisa. Is it? Okay. All right, this is man, it's big.
Too big?
Yeah, make it smaller. Yeah, it's way too big. Make it smaller.
We have to be able to see it.
Can you all see that?
Yeah, we can, yes.
All right. This is February 1st. We started out with $30,300. Revenue wise, we had a member that decided they had had things going on, and they dropped their membership, so we refunded their membership. So that's why you got a negative on the dues for February. Then the second thing, we had interest income. So like I said, this is every month without lifting the finger. It all works. Pollinator Day, we had money coming in. This is all. This is from shout outs. This is from businesses, things like that. So, and some shirt sales, not too much, but a little bit. And then Tomato Festival, we sold a couple cookbooks, and the revenue for cookbooks goes in the Tomato Festival. So Diane has an annual monthly income always for books somehow. So I'll tell you now, next, we've been awarded the grant from the Duke Foundation that will hit in March. So money's gonna go up, but it'll be paying it out too. So as this grant money comes in, cash is gonna build for a while. And then it's gonna work down over a period of time. So it's better than spending the money and hoping the grants come in. So we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. So total income this month, or total revenues, was $2,000. Expenses this month were Pollinator Day. Yeah. $1,700, and then Seed Savers had a small expense. And then technology, I think that was a Zoom license probably, and something else for on the technology side. So paid out almost $2,000, but you know, it's basically a break-even month. Any questions on that? Okay, next tab is same stuff year to date. It's gonna look pretty much the same because it's only 2 months. There you go. Started out the year at 29,400. We took in $2,900. And the expenses for February are also the year-to-date expenses because we didn't pay anything out in January. There you go. So, any questions there? So, when we apply for these grants, it's like casting a net. You don't know what you're gonna catch and what you're not gonna catch. So, we're very fortunate with the grants that are coming in.
How much did we get from Meta?
That has yet to be determined.
We have it.
We
We're
don't.
working on that.
Okay, because they said that we were okay for it.
Yeah.
Okay,
More to come.
okay,
They have not officially announced it.
it's in the paper.
They have not told us they've officially announced it. We were given a gag order.
Oh, okay, never mind.
That's the easiest way to say that. We have a gag order.
What paper was it in?
Don read it to me. He reads the paper online, so I'm assuming that it's the
Recently?
on Indiana side. I think it was today.
No, we were given a gag order.
Okay, all right. Well, it didn't have an amount.
She's probably within the next week or
Yeah,
so.
we,
Yeah, okay.
that one we can't comment on. So,
No, but it's not time for that yet. So.
but anyway, you know, if you see a month where we're up to $40,000, that money's gonna be committed some way, somehow, and, you know, we can't spend it on other programs or ourselves if it's grant money. So, any questions for me?
No.
Anybody wants copies of this stuff, email me and I'll send it to you. And
Thanks,
I'll
Mike.
turn things back over to Shelley.
Good job.
Thanks, Mike.
We're very fortunate to have Mike, and please start thinking about if it's a position somebody out there would like to have. This is his second year. So we are gonna have to replace him. So, and he's done a good job of organizing it. Before him was Kathy Strucker, so please start considering taking a position, because we have quite a few opening. If you notice in the newsletter, we've been highlighting the board positions and trying to do a good job of putting the descriptions in there. Because we are gonna have turnover on the board this year, because the majority of us.
The majority of us, a majority of us, I don't know.
or have been 2 years, so. Can they still hear me on that?
Let's be loud. You're gonna be loud. You're
Loud.
Loud.
Okay, I can do that.
You wanna use a lavalier? That would seem so.
Just, let's just.
I'll do that, because I'm not gonna be doing a lot of talking, somebody else is going to be. So next is Lisa. Refreshments for the class.
Anybody wants to,
You gotta be loud.
anybody wants to bring refreshments to the master gardener class that goes through mid-April, just let me know.
Jean is traveling today, she's on her way back here, so we'll finally see her, so I'm gonna go past the.
no, she should be getting with people, Paris Town's coming up and Grantline Open House is coming up in April. So keep those on your radar for volunteering to have
Dates.
Grantline is the Derby, not Derby weekend,
Thunder weekend?
I think
Well, so she's traveling today, we'll get stuff out, I'm sure she'll get things out when she
the
gets.
11th is Grantline, April 11th, and April 19th is Paris Town.
Okay. Next on the list is Kathy Strecker. Just so you guys know, we took that survey and a lot of people weren't aware of some of the projects that we do and they wanted more information. So again, a lot of what you're seeing and hearing in the newsletter and at our meetings is what you all asked for. So, you'll be seeing more projects being highlighted and spoken of here at our meetings. And again, think about the volunteer opportunities. I'm sure you see in the newsletter, I'm constantly saying that, right? So again, we want to make sure you guys know the information. The new class that's come in does get a project book. And again, all the project heads have done a really nice job of describing what their projects are, what it takes, the volunteer hours. So they're also being informed. So when they get done with their class, we'll have some new blood coming in and helping with our projects.
Almost got you where you need to be at.
Do you want to try using this, Kathy? Or you want to use the?
Not that clicker. Bag.
Yeah.
I would rather use one, that's better.
I know, right? It's, yeah, I think I just have a.
Don't mean you have to have it on. Sorry. There you go.
So do just I shout or?
Just be loud. Be loud. They're gonna be quiet so she can talk.
Okay. I'm here to tell you about the Youth Master Gardener program. I have several ulterior motives, which you'll see.
Yeah, that's your baby.
Okay. We start out with the students on planting day, which is always the second Saturday in May. And this is Margaret, Lynn, and Connie in Oxel. They're preparing the plant table. And so we have one Sunnyside volunteer for each student, and the student they help the student plant their garden. And you can also see the bluebird box. The students learn about bluebirds and bluebird nest box care from Lee Eastland, and then they get to take a box home. So part of my ulterior motive is to encourage those of you who are not regular YMG volunteers is to consider volunteering for planting day. It's May the 9th this year to help one of these children plant their garden. It's a fun day. So the first class session is, we meet on Monday mornings for 7 weeks, June through mid-July. And Gina leads us off with plant growth and development. You can see she's got hands like experiments and hands-on things the kids can look at. Out in the garden, now we have a YMG mentor with 2 children, the 2 children that share the half of the bed, each one has a half of the bed. And they help them learn how to take care of a garden, weeding, thinning seedlings, watching out for pests, and when and how to harvest each plant. So then the second class session is starts with soils, and they learn about soil because great soil is the foundation for great plants. And they have hands-on activities that enhance what they learn from this particular PowerPoint presentation. Also part of that session is composting and vermiculture. That's vermiculture is worms. So Jay teaches the students about compost and has them investigate the nature of finished compost. And you can see the little magnifying glasses where the students can observe the helpful creatures that live in the compost. And they really enjoy this. They love getting down and checking this out. They also make their own worm bin, and they assemble it in a plastic jar and take care of them at home. And then they bring them back on the last day of class and return the worms to their garden bed. And that's fun too. Okay, the third class session, we talk about vegetables. And Axel does vegetables for us now. And he came up with this fun 3 questions game where the children could reinforce what they learned about defining the characteristics of vegetables. So he talks to them and then they play the game so that they can actually use that knowledge. This was kind of a stumper for them. They needed help from us on that one, but I thought it was a really good activity. Also that day we do herbs. Elizabeth leads a hands-on session where the students can actually see, touch, and smell a wide variety of herbs. And then they also learn about culinary and personal care items that can be made with herbs. And they have a variety of learning sessions where they can prepare these things that they get to take home with them. And they also get a tour of the herb bed in the YMG garden. Compliments of Dave Graff. So the fourth session, I was appalled to find out I didn't have any pictures from it, but it's one of our, well, not that any of them are better than others, but it's a really fun day. It's annuals and perennials, where they learn about annuals, biennials, and perennials with an emphasis on flowers. And the students also learn about plant propagation and also how to read all that important information on the back of the seed packet. And they have stations that day as well. Several hands-on activities that they get to take home, like planting seeds in eggshells, seed saving, and pressing flowers for art. And then they also have some demonstrations on root division, and we do corms, bulbs, and rhizomes. So the fifth class session is insects. And they learn some basic information about insects that helps them understand why some insects are beneficial to gardens and some insects are garden pests. And then in another session, they learn in more detail about the pests and beneficial aspects of common bugs in the garden. And even though we tell them that there aren't any bad bugs, just bugs are, we do have a little exercise for them called good bug, bad bug, but they like that. That's fun. And then finally, they learn how to make their own garden more pollinator friendly, since pollinators are one of the most famous beneficial insects, and they get to make a native bee nest that they take home. And the sixth class session is on fruits and then honeybees. Deb teaches the students about the different classifications of fruits. And then she reads them this neat book about seed dispersion that really helps them better understand why those fruit classifications are important to gardeners. And then they have a tasty fruit snack. And then they learn about another sweet treat, which is honey. Melanie teaches them about honeybees and beekeeping. And the students get to observe a real beehive, try on a beekeeper suit, and take home a honey straw. I don't let them eat those in the classroom or everybody would be all sticky. So out in the garden, meanwhile, things have been growing. And their hard work pays off. So the students enjoy their gardens and they also get to harvest. And you can see Julia helping her students harvest basil. But there's all kinds of tomatoes, peppers, onions, green beans. I mean, we just have lots of vegetables. Also in the garden, we have some demonstration beds to show students interesting plants and vegetables that are not suitable for the student beds. And so here you can see we have kohlrabi, carrots, celery, and fennel. We do different things different years depending on what our garden committee decides. And then we have Dave showing a cotton boll. We actually grew cotton 1 or 2 years, but decided it matured too late to really mean much to the kids. So we do different things now. And the final class session is wildlife in the garden. And Ethel teaches the students about wildlife they might encounter in the garden. Some can be pests, like the deer, and some can be beneficial, like the songbirds and things that eat bugs. And she leads them in a web of life activity that demonstrates how everything in the garden and backyard are interrelated. Hardy Lake DNR presents their popular live birds of prey program, and they emphasize birds that the students may see in their backyard and garden. And the session concludes with a fun sunflower contest where prizes are awarded for the tallest and the shortest sunflower. And you can see the sunflowers behind the students here. And actually the ones on the right were the ones that the deer nibbled on. And so they were smaller than the others. And so the students' families will continue to harvest on their own after the class ends until the growing season is over. So there are various aspects of this. If you know of a child or a neighbor, relative, whatever, that might be interested, they can download the application at this address. Don't go yet because Mike Callahan hasn't had a chance to update the page yet, but I think I'll have Shelley send y'all out a notice when all that stuff's ready to go. And then if you want to learn more about volunteering for the summer, or even just volunteering to help us on planting day, you can email me and I'm in the directory. And the other thing, which I didn't put on here, is that we are losing the main nursery that supplies us with plants this year. And so we may need some help growing plants. So if you think you might be able to grow maybe 12 or 24 plants, different kind of vegetable or flower or something, drop me a line and we'll see what you might be, see what we have we're kind of gonna have to spread it out between other nurseries and other volunteers. So see what you might be interested in helping to grow and have for us on planting day on May the 9th. So I believe that's it. And if anybody has questions, probably not. I talked too much already.
That is a wonderful, the organization that she has is just outstanding. So thank you, Kathy, for all the work that you put into that project. I was there when the artichokes had flower. I had never seen one before and it was beautiful. I mean, it was, she's like, oh, it's an artichoke. And I'm like, what? And it was just gorgeous. I took them home and I used them in a display on my front porch because they were so pretty.
And the bees love.
Yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful. Okay, go ahead, Deb. You're next.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk to you about the gardens that are at the Norwich Fairgrounds in New Albany, which is on Green Valley Road. This will be our 11th year for the gardens. We have 12 4x4 beds. Kind of started out as vegetable gardens until we just could not win with the deer. So there is no fencing and there was no way to continue with vegetables. And about, what, 4 years ago was the community garden started? 4 years old? Yeah, around
4 or
there.
5, I don't know, I've lost track.
So we decided, well, the community garden is there on the same property, just a little ways from where our gardens are. So we've decided to have our gardens be all pollinated. So that brings in the pollinators to visit the community garden plants. It's kind of a win-win for both of us. We can come up with perennials that the deer won't bother. Some of them they still do. Some of our beds are actually have chicken wire around them, especially in the spring. The flowers are tastier than to the deer, but once they get up and blooming, then it's usually okay. We have a team of 5 people. It's not very large gardens. We meet on Mondays, usually start around the last week of March and we continue all the way through till the first part of October. We usually read around 8:30 in the morning for an hour and a half, 2 hours. We also take care of, as you're driving down Green Valley Road, you might notice these great big flower pots that are along the sidewalk there. The city provides the flowers for the flower pots and they are not interested in taking care of. That's become our job. So, we.
Oh, those are keep Floyd County clean and green flowers. Yeah, there's a thing. There's a back there. with that.
Yeah, yeah. So we take care of those as well. And then if we're really caught up on everything, we try to help neaten up in front of the buildings there at the fairgrounds. So if anybody's interested in wanting to join us on that project, I'm in the directory, so just let me know. We'd be glad to have you. So now I'm sliding into the next project that I chair, which is the Sunnyside Master Gardener Seed Saver Team. It's about 5 or 6 years old. It has really grown over these last couple of years. We just got finished cleaning most of our seed heads. There's still a few that have come in. We have over 2,000 packages of seeds packaged up this year that go to the libraries, that go to Galena Library, they go to the Charlestown Library, which also sends them out to like 3 or 4 other libraries within Clark County. They go to the Jeffersonville Library. Sellersburg comes under the Charlestown Library and Clarksville Library. So we have seed boxes at all of those libraries. We also have 4 programs now that we speak about. We go around to the libraries and anywhere else that we're asked to come and do our presentations. We have Gardening 101, Seed Saving 101, a Victory Garden program, and our newest one is Garden Planning 101. Seed Saver Team meets most generally on the second Tuesday of the month in Gina's office. I have a variety of people on this team. Everyone sort of has their own part that they do. I have one person that keeps a digital catalog of all of our seeds. I have some people that grow for us. They don't even make the meetings. They're growers for us, which I really appreciate. And we have 4 or 5 of the people that like to do presentations, go out, do the presentations. We have people that are more interested in cleaning seeds while we're at the meetings. Anything at all, any part of seed saving that you would be interested in, we can use you. So that's a team of about 13 of us right now, but we can always use more members there and we can always use more people to grow seeds for us. We do have, if you grow seeds, we're gonna have to get super strict with you guys this next year. There is a worksheet that we've asked you guys to fill out. That's gone kind of so-so. We're gonna have to fill it out, starting now and going forward, because we now have a seed permit from the state of Indiana through Purdue. Purdue takes care of the seed permits.
So state chemist, not Purdue, it just happens to be housed at Purdue.
Gotcha, the state chemist. So I don't wanna scare you about what you all need to give me, because I don't need all of the information that's on the sheet. So don't ever think, oh, well, I can't provide all of that, so I'm not gonna, turn in any seed heads. What we really are gonna need is the month you collected them. That's very important. The purpose of the seed permit, and tell me if I'm wrong, Gina, but they wanna be able to trace these seeds, just in case.
Yeah, there's an issue with that.
Yeah, just in case there's any kind of issue with the seeds having weeds, you know. That, this pertains to groups, to other entities that are a bigger seed saving project than what we probably are, but we still need to follow all the rules. So, if you all can ever take pictures of what you're gonna bring me, that is wonderful. If you can't, that's fine too. But if you can always tell me whether it's a sun or shade plant for you. Little things that went well for you with that plan, or tricks you know about, where it likes to be planted, that kind of thing is always really good. The Latin names, we can take care of finding that out for you, so, if you all just will be sure that you let me know when you have collected them, and when you've brought them into the, office, be sure they're dry. That's very, very important.
Deb, is that form on our website?
It is, it's on our
So that way you guys
website.
can See what information she's looking. for.
Right, it is on our website on the member side,
Thank you.
and I am gonna get in there very soon, and I'm going to put an asterisk by the points that you have to fill out.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay.
Can you talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was a lot tonight. So we are also hosting our second annual open house this next Tuesday night. From 4 to 7. It's at Purdue. It'll be in the lobby. I will have the seats there that night. A lot of them have already gone out to the library, but I've still got plenty of seeds for everybody. I've got seeds from, commercial seeds that have been donated to us by local businesses, and then I will have quite a few of ours that we have set. We look to have a few plants that some of us have started, the early things like cabbage, lettuce, that sort of thing. We have a lot of seed starting materials. We have every kind of seed tray you can think of, every size of pot you can think of. And we're just asking, for a donation for those, and that money goes back to SMG to help fund all these different projects like we were showing you tonight. So there again, it's this next Tuesday from 4 to 7. We'd love to see you there. That will be the only time that I will have the seeds between now and then at Pollinator Day. We will again have the seeds then. Any questions about either one of the projects? I'll have to get Kathy to do me a fancy presentation.
Thank you. Next, thank you.
Hi, I'm Justin.
Be loud, be loud.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take over the Century Garden for Bonnie. She runs a tight ship, so I hope I can fill the shoes. We're always, in need of volunteers over there. We go about, start about, this month, sometime, or March sometime, go through maybe October. We just, general cleanup, weeding, pruning, that sort of stuff. So if any of the interns that are listening, or you guys, wanna help out, I'll be sending out emails, before each event. And just let me know if you wanna help. Thank you.
All right. And then Mary Ann,
Oh, yeah.
regarding the demo gardens, please.
Right. I work at the demo garden and the problem is we need workers too. Some of us are getting a little bit older and we need somebody to help with it. The demonstration garden, if you're not in, no, it's, at the fairgrounds in Clark County, 4-H Fairgrounds. We work on Wednesdays at 9 in the morning. And that's when we pick our vegetables too, and we take them to, everything we get, take to, the St. Lay Ministry, which is a Dare to Care, place in Jeffersonville. Last year, we took over 1,000 pounds of produce, so we did a good job. We also have a pollinator garden, which we take care of up there. We are in need, we really desperately need some people to help us. We will be having a planning meeting on next Wednesday, the 11th of March at 9 a.m. in the office building up at the fairgrounds. So if you're interested, or if you know somebody who's interested, we'd love to have you. I was sure.
Thank you. And then Diane, did you have anything else you wanted to add regarding the tomato festival? Okay, it looks like we talked about everything else. It looks like our education hours for tonight is gonna be 1 hour. Our volunteer hours for the meeting itself is gonna be 1 hour. So please make sure you put those in. Did I forget something? Huh? Me.
Me, I told you I wrote a note for myself.
Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry, Deb, I took it over for you because I wasn't sure you were there.
Okay, if a homeschool group has reached out and they would like someone to do a training for their kiddos on March 12th. During the time that is also Master Garden training. I clearly can't be in both. If anyone is interested, please email me by about noon tomorrow. If you want to go for about 2 hours, it's in Georgetown across from Polyfreeze. I tell you could get Polyfreeze, but I don't know if it's open right now. They just want to do seed starting and stuff, so let me know about that. I had it, the Panera. There is an event on Sunnyside's Facebook page, so please share that. These are gonna end up being some of your non-discretionary funds, so if a project needs something a little larger that maybe wasn't budgeted for, that these funds could go towards that. Don't take the flyer. You have to have some form of the flyer, whether it's on your phone, your email. Shelly's gonna email it out. Don't stand in front of the Panera on State Street and hand them out. Then they will not give us our funds. We cannot do this in front of the store. This all has to be through word of mouth. So you cannot advertise this in front of the store. And finally, Betty is retiring on March 31st, after almost 19 years serving for Extension Floyd County. There is going to be a party. It will be March 27th. I have an invite I will send out to everybody. It will be in the afternoon from like 1 to 3. Please do not say anything to Betty. Betty does not want a party. Betty got outvoted. Betty does not know this is happening. And we would like to try to keep it as much of a surprise as possible, so please don't say anything, but I will get an invite out in the next couple of days. If you want to come, you're welcome to come. You don't have to come, just telling you it's the last Friday of the month, so. And sign up for Pollinator Day. I'll send another email out with that Qualtrics. I think that's it now.
Also, any of you project leads like Mary Ann, let me know when you guys are having those meetings, and then I can send out an email to everybody.
Okay.
Because that, I think, will help maybe you get some other volunteers and the people who already are in your group. Because I'm pretty new and I do see that people tend to all just work together, and sometimes like, I don't know you're having a meeting, so I wouldn't be able to attend. So if I have access to everyone's email, so I can send a broadcast email out to let them know when you guys are having these meetings. And if you can't, send them to me out, enough in advance. So it gives people time to plan them into their schedules. Okay. Anything, yeah, we do have the flyers up here. Does anybody have anything else? It's been a long meeting, but we haven't seen each other for a few months, so. Anything else?
Nope.
No questions?
Nope.
Everybody's happy?
Yep.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Bonnie,
Who made the motion?
Bonnie Cummings made a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Colleen made the motion, or seconded the motion.
Aline, who?
Craven Becker.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.